Welcome everybody to Coffee with Sledge. My name is the Metalhead Maniac Sledge, and this week's guest, the one, the only, Kevin McNally. That's right, Gibbs from Pirates of the Caribbean sat down with me at Unicon in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we had an amazing conversation. So kick back, relax, grab your cup of coffee, and enjoy my conversation with Gibbs himself, Kevin McNally. Sir, I'm so excited to have you.
I'm very happy to be here, Sledge.
Yeah, when I was originally got booked for this thing and I saw that you were going to be here, I kind of freaked out a little bit. I was like, because I'm a huge Pirates fan.
Oh, really?
Right?
Oh,
the whole
good,
franchise is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
I do get a little seasick, okay? I do get a little seasick, so I don't go on the water very often.
You don't go, no. Well, we all get seasick. I'm fortunate that Dramamine doesn't make me sleepy, so sometimes I was the only one standing on the deck.
So you guys actually filmed that in the ocean?
You know, in the early ones, it was all in the ocean. A lot of it was at the ocean. The later ones tended to be a little bit more green screen CGI as films are getting nowadays. But we did a lot of stuff at sea in the early ones. It was terrific.
How was working with Johnny?
Johnny's just great. He hasn't got much of a sense of time. He's certainly not punctual, but when he turns up, it's a real laugh.
It's a real fun time.
Yeah.
And it, like you just kind of see like I'm a huge Johnny Depp fan. I'm a huge fan of yours as well.
Thank you very much.
And like you're originally from the UK.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you started your acting over there, correct?
Yeah. So I was 47 years old when I got the gig for Pirates, and it sort of transformed my life because I was like an English character actor, and now I'm here talking to the likes of you, so it's great.
Hey, well, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy with a microphone. I'm trying to make something of myself, but you've already made something of yourself. You already got your big break.
I got my big break.
Yeah. So how did that come about? Did you just obviously you read for it? Right?
Yeah.
So,
but I'd actually got really fed up of reading for American films because I never got them.
Really?
I just would never get them. So I actually the day that I was supposed to do my interview, I was in my back garden celebrating my birthday, my 47th birthday or 46th birthday, and somebody said, "Aren't you supposed to be at a meeting for a movie today?" And I went, "Yeah, but it's an American film. I never get them." And I said, and anyway, now, I've had a few glasses of wine. I can't go to an interview drunk. She said, it's for a pirate. It doesn't matter how drunk you are. So, and I went along, and I had instructions from the director, Gore Verbinski, to tell a piratey story, which I did. And he offered me the job the next day.
That is awesome.
I never looked back.
How was first day of filming? Did they put you right on a boat?
No. First day of filming, we were locked up on a set at Disney.
Yeah.
But one of the interesting things about talking to you about wrestling, for instance, is that my dad and I were really into wrestling. We used to go and see it with my local town. The stars would go around, the 60 stars.
Yeah.
But I've always watched wrestling because I like to do my own stunts. And I learned how to fall from you guys.
Oh.
So I know how to do a good fall.
You know how to take good flatback.
Good flatbacks, all that sorts of forward falls, things
So
like
were you
that.
like watching like World of Sport when you were growing up?
Yeah.
I love World of Sport. Johnny Saint's like one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I love watching that British. I was over in England doing a tour with a company called WAW, which is a night family out of Norwich, England. They've been around for 30, 40 years.
Is that right?
Yeah. Back in the World of Sport days, right?
Wow.
And they taught me that British style, that British influence, because back then it was more about, it was the rounds. They had rounds, and that was before.
It was different.
It was very different. I don't know if a lot of the American style, especially now, are the newer. I don't know if you watch any of the newer
Yeah,
product.
I do. Yeah. No, I love it. What's interesting though is you guys nowadays are much fitter than they used to be. They tended to be fat. They were just big fat guys.
Big men, yes, big men.
So we had a guy called Giant Haystacks. If you look at him now, you think you're just going to knock him over with a blow. One blow. But I've always loved it. I've always loved it, and I'm so impressed that you know World of Sport. That's so funny.
I professional wrestling has been my life since I was 5 years old. I remember watching Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, SummerSlam '91, for the Intercontinental Championship. That was what hooked me with wrestling.
Right.
And then being able to do it as a living,
Perfect.
And being on television and wrestling around the world that I have, I've learned so many different styles of wrestling.
I bet, yeah.
And been able to not just respect it, but respect the history as well.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part. And I sooner or later want to make my way into acting. Because what I do
is performance. Exactly.
It's a performance base. Yes.
Yeah.
I just have
and
no
it's
idea
a disciplined performance as well. It's really admirable to watch. And as I say, the connection with doing stunts or doing fight sequences, the way you have to rehearse that and make sure you know what you're doing so you don't hurt yourself or somebody else is really important.
I never even thought that, I know that actors sometimes are fans of professional wrestling but learning how to take a flat back from us, knowing, just watching us, knowing how to take a flat back, that's really awesome, actually.
Yeah, I just did a Western movie at the end of last year, and it was just after Rust, so they weren't using any blanks even. So it was really interesting to do, to mime all of that stuff and then take a big hit and bang flat on your back and then get your head blown off. It's just a silly thing to say, but I love that.
No, hell yeah.
And I wanted to do it all myself, so
What made you get into acting? And with that being said, what were some of your trials and tribulations, though? Because, like you said, your big break didn't come until you were, 47?
But my international break didn't come until my late 40s.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I was lucky that I started very young. I celebrated my 50th year on the 2nd of September since my first professional job. But I've been very lucky that I work all the time. I get to do what I love all the time.
Absolutely.
So there hasn't been trials and tribulations that way. There have been times when I've thought the work I'm doing is not very good, or I got to change it, so you got to make decisions. You got to go, I'm not going to take work, suffer financially a bit maybe. Certainly I was doing that just before Pirates. I'd put myself out of work for about 8 months so I could do more films, so I would be on the lists, as they say, for the movies. So you have to make decisions. The reason I became an actor was because I was at school. I wasn't a very good scholar, and I remember being in a class and the teacher wrote a lineup on the blackboard, as we had them blackboards.
Yes.
And with the chalk, and then she rubbed it out and said, "Does anybody remember what I just wrote on the blackboard?" Because I was the only person not paying attention to my work and watching her.
Right.
So I remembered it, got the lead in the school play, never looked back since.
That's I was not very good in school myself, right? I could barely read and write, but I knew that I could do this.
Yeah.
I could talk.
Yeah.
And I knew that I loved professional wrestling.
Right.
And I went the MMA route. I just don't like getting punched in the face.
No. That's strange, because most people do. They love it.
I'm not a big fan of getting punched in the face.
No, exactly.
Now, with wrestling, it slips every once in a while. And with acting, you probably, you've taken a...
I've had a few rifle butts to the head. Yeah,
absolutely. I was a little stiff. Let's,
Yeah, thanks. Ease up there,
it's calm it down, kids. It's calm it down.
But, I think, speaking to young people, and I teach young people, I take classes with them and acting. I think half the job is if you know what you want to do. Because not knowing what you want to do is the biggest thing that will hold you back.
I agree.
So if you know you can talk and you can wrestle, and I knew that I could pretend to be other people, then it's half the job done.
Yeah. How was that first play, though? You got the lead in the first play.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. I didn't mean to age you. I apologize.
No,
I apologize.
It's alive. It was in the 60s, I tell you. Yeah.
How was it? Were you nervous your first time walking out?
Yeah, terrified.
Was it one of those? Do you still get nervous?
No, I don't really get nervous now, because I've learned to direct all my energy into doing it as well as I can.
Right.
So I don't have time for that anymore. But I loved it. But one thing I will remember is that my mum came to see it. I played, we have Harvest Festival plays in England, and I played the Sun. And she really liked my performance as the Sun, and she bought me a chocolate bar and a comic. And I thought, wow, this is great. You get given gifts for not being very good at school.
Very good. Hey.
And funny enough, I played King Lear at the Globe Theatre in London about 5 years ago, and they'd obviously heard me tell this story, because on the first night I got a chocolate bar and a comic, which is probably worth more than what they were paying me at the Globe at the time,
How was your... So you went and you did that, and then you started like auditioning for movies? Or
No.
Please
I left.
It kind of interests me, like how you actually get in.
I left school early because I got a job in a local theater, and the guy who ran it was a bit worried that he's put another kid on the street, so he said, you can stay here till you get trained, go to a drama school.
There you go.
Which I did. So I got to play parts that, I was 16 and I was playing old men and I was playing women and I was playing everything, So then I went to drama school. I came out and pretty well started in TV in England. A sort of golden era of television in the 70s in England. But as I say, all of that was great, and I was very content when I was 46, but then for this to open up to me, for America and the world to open up to me, was a wonderful experience and a great thing to happen. And I wouldn't be here talking to you today if it hadn't happened. There you go.
Hey, there it is. And when you first got that break here, in America, but decided to come from, the UK over to America to try to pursue the films over here.
Yeah.
It's totally different, which, you were saying that it's different. You weren't getting a lot of roles. Was it possibly because of your English accent or what?
Well, it's a very good choice. I remember a man saying to me many years ago when I was working on an American TV series in Israel, he said, you've got to learn to do a good American accent because otherwise you'll only play Nazis or Romans. And that's sort of true, So when I started in the theater in England, my area of expertise was doing modern American plays when they came over.
Yeah.
So I learned very soon how to do a pretty passable American accent, and I try not to do an English accent here when I work. I try to play Americans when I'm here.
Was that hard to learn that? To learn the transition?
No, because I'd grown up with American movies, in a way that you guys don't grow up with English films.
Yeah.
So, all I got to do is I just got to think about Humphrey Bogart, or I got to think about Cary Grant's English, but, the way he did an American accent. So, I had a pretty good one from the start, and then when I got over here, I learned that there are more than one American accent. It's not just New York.
Yes.
You got to do the other places.
You got to come over. I'm from California.
Well, there you go. And the big one to learn was to do a Midwestern accent, because obviously that is what you might call a sort of standard American accent.
Right. Yeah.
So
I can't do one. So no, I just do California.
When you're from California, that's all you do.
That's all I do. Yeah. I could try to do an English accent, but I'd probably butcher it, and you'd probably
love to hear it.
You'd probably just leave really quickly.
No, you should do an English accent. And I should afterwards go, "Oh, dude, that's awesome."
I have a lot of friends over in England. I don't want to sit there and make them
offend anybody.
You know what's funny is when I first went over there, and I did my first tour over there.
Yeah.
And I can say this because we're in America and you're this, and I didn't realize that America made the C word so bad, but over there it's like asshole to
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I was first on Pirates, we were having some training with muskets and cannon.
How was that?
It was great fun, but there was this lady teaching us. And somebody had said to me, when you go over there, don't say the C word, because for us it's like mate,
Yeah, exactly,
So I said, all right, I'll try to remember. Anyway, it popped out of my mouth, and it was like I'd shot this woman, and she fell over a cannon. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And I try to make it up by saying, I call my daughter E-Pops, and my son is E-Bollocks. And it didn't help, but she finally forgave me.
That's
but
good.
I still have to be really careful about it when you're over here.
I know when I'm talking to with my friends over there, they call me it all the time, and I call it them. But when I'm over here and I say it, because it does slip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get used to it,
and I'm like, huh?
I know. But also we have a way of saying it very lightly.
Yes,
but when people here say it, it's like very angry and very starting. When I hear Americans say it, in fact, I was saying to my pal over here, I was at a convention and somebody mentioned that somebody was a C word, and I went, whoa, no, not in an American accent, man. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, right.
That sounds really bad.
That sounds really nasty. Yeah. No.
So next week on the C word, we will be discussing how to offend your grandmother.
That's right. That's awesome. Pirates of the Caribbean, man.
Yeah,
you've done all
five of them. There are three humans and one primate who
Yeah.
have been in all five of them.
Yeah.
So there's a monkey, me, Jeffrey Rush, and Johnny Depp.
Yeah. And was the booze real?
It's Disney, man.
Oh.
No, the drugs were pretty good though.
Hey.
No, the booze was not real,
no.
but wine was partaken towards the end of the day.
Absolutely. But like going through that whole process of film and going through the whole process of, getting into that character, getting into, being a pirate and being, working with Depp and doing the action scenes and all of that, like that whole experience was just, I'm guessing, absolutely just amazing, right?
Oh, it was wonderful. I get asked by, my wheelhouse is really 30-year-olds who grew up, people in their 30s who grew up with these films.
Yeah.
They're my people. And
myself.
They often ask me, what is it like? And I say, well, do you know when you played when you were a kid?
Yeah.
It feels exactly like that, but with much better toys. That's what it's like. As far as preparation goes, you have to remember that I'm of an age when I can remember the sort of first wave of pirate films, 50s, 60s, Errol Flynn, Tyrone Power, and then they just went out of fashion. And so because of that, when I did this film, I thought, I don't know who's going to go and watch this, but it completely revived the whole pirate thing.
Did you believe after the film was done, and you guys probably get like the first screening of it before it goes out? I'm guessing yes.
Yeah.
After watching the film before the first one came out, did you think to yourself, this is a hit? Because you probably know what a hit is, what isn't a hit. Let's get that.
Even before then, the fact that Johnny, who at the time was one of the biggest independent film stars, and Jeffrey, who was an Oscar winner, the fact that they were on it, I thought, well, they know a lot more about film than I do, so there's something in this script. And then when Gore Verbinski came on and put his vision on it, I thought, wow, this could be really good. It could be really good. And then we saw it. I think that when we went to the cast and crew, I think there was a feeling of, either people won't get this or they'll get it really big time. And of course, 2 weeks later, the box office was through the roof, and I was in a Hollywood hit. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe my luck. Red carpet.
Yeah.
2 more films they booked. Instantly, I was going to be in 3 blockbusters. It was very exciting. And I'm not the type of guy who tries to be cool about stuff. I'm like, isn't this great? This is fantastic.
That's awesome, because
calm down.
That would be me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The enthusiasm. Like when I signed my first deal, the Ring of Honor, I was like, I did it because you feel like you accomplished something.
Yeah, exactly. And why not enjoy it?
Why not enjoy it?
Instead of trying to be,
it's cool.
Yeah,
it's just,
it's just what I deserve, man.
Just worked hard enough.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to come one of these days. Jeez.
Yes. I did. There was an actress I know. I've worked with her a little bit, but I saw her on the TV, and she'd just been offered a film with a very famous film director, and she was being asked about it.
Yeah.
And she said the naffest thing. She said, so got in touch with me and asked me, and I thought, finally, and you think, don't be like that. Be
grateful.
Happy, grateful and happy, yeah.
Because you could be doing something else. Did you ever think about doing anything else?
I thought briefly when I was 10 of being an astrophysicist, but as we've already talked about the schoolwork.
Yeah, schoolwork wasn't there.
Yeah, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. The physics just wasn't there,
What was the worst job you ever had trying to make it into acting?
The worst job I ever had was I briefly, just after I left school and after I finished the first job, before I went to drama school, I was a filing clerk in an insurance office. Back in the days before computers, when you literally had to take everything and put it in a big room in envelopes. When I left there, I think there were many people who didn't get their insurance claims because I used to just bung them. I'd go, shit, I've been doing this long enough. And I'd put them in a trash bin and I'd go home, collect my wages. I think I ruined many people's lives.
But then you embraced everybody's life with pirates.
Yes, then I improved them.
Then you improved them.
It took 50 years, but I then went on the light
better
side.
late than never.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the way I look at it.
Thank you.
Last thing.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because you live here in America now, right?
Yeah.
Do you? And you probably go back. You go back.
Oh, all the time. And I travel the world working.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Best place you've had food?
That I've had food.
Yeah, I'm a huge foodie. What? I wasn't a big fan of the UK food. I'm sorry. I apologize. But, American food, I think, is a little bit better than the UK food, right? You guys' chocolate is way better.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys' chocolate. Oh.
I just had a Kit Kat here the other day. It tasted really strange and gritty.
Yeah.
But the answer to your question is Chicago.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I love the food in Chicago.
Yeah?
The seafood, the claws, the prime rib, that's what I want. I live on that stuff.
Last meal, what would you have?
Prime rib.
Ooh.
Prime rib with some stone crab claws to start.
You're making me hungry.
And maybe a nice big raspberry cheesecake at the end, and a lovely bottle of rosé Whispering Angel to go with it.
You know, I can't eat any of that. You probably don't know, but I can't eat any of that.
Why not?
Because I'm getting ready for a bodybuilding show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you
getting
gotta,
ready, yeah.
so you're trimming away all the fat.
Yeah, I'm trimming away all the fat.
Yeah.
But my cheat day is tomorrow. My cheat meal is tomorrow.
Right. Eat what you like Sunday.
Yeah. Well, just one meal. I'm gonna have some prime rib.
Do you ever have any problem with like passing out and stuff or being faint? Because I know some of the big guys who do that. It happens to them sometimes. When they're just literally no fat and muscle. And they're just muscle.
This is my first. So this is my first show that I'm actually going into for bodybuilding.
All right.
Right. But I'm also going to be wrestling beforehand too, because I have other.
You'll be exhausted.
Exactly. Yes. So
you need a prime rib steak.
I need a prime rib steak and some claws and a cheesecake.
And a big cheesecake.
Yes. Sir, thank you so much for your time.
It's been my pleasure. It's nice to meet you.
This has been awesome, man.
Great.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Cheers.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my conversation with Kevin McNally. I can't believe I actually got to interview him. He is one of the nicest and sweetest human beings I have ever had the pleasure of talking to. I will put all of his social medias down below. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. You might see me in one of his short films coming up. You never know. But until then, make sure you guys turn on that notification so you guys get my podcast that drops every single week. I am the Metalhead Maniac Sledge. This was Coffee with Sledge. And I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.